We're at the Confluence Kitchen and Bath showroom here in Boulder with Chelsea. She's going to show us around the showroom, talk about some different options that they have for our bathroom spaces that we have upcoming, and that could be a good fit for you.
We are Confluence Kitchen and Bath. We're located right in the McGuckins parking lot. The things that people really love about coming into us is that we're very curated. So we're more of a boutique place. You're going to be able to get different lines that you can't see everywhere else. And then we also have a lot of different touch and feel options, right? Tubs you can get into, water that can turn on, so that way people can really understand and have that experience before they're getting it to home. What we really love in being able to guide our clients through is being able to see the different finishing options. And so they can look at a faucet, they can look at a tub, we can look at different accessories, right? From that being hardware to the actual fixtures themselves and different shower heads, that all of those finishes are able to really be able to blend together. That's not something that you get to do when you're online, right? You think that it's the same, but it's not really the same. And so that's what we're here for, is to touch and feel and put them together in real life. That way you make sure that those expectations are being met before you're actually installing them.
So Chelsea, tell me a little bit about these La Cava vanity sets we've got here.
These three that we have are brand new displays, and what I think is so awesome about them is that they have this like very much Italian inspiration. Really great finishes, a great quality and customization between all of them. I feel like they just really speak super well for themselves. Everyone really loves this color, you know, being able to blend the walnut in with the different fixtures here. They also have a total line that ships within 48 hours. So if you need something really quick and dirty,
that's incredible.
That's what you got.
That's incredible. 48 hours. So I can come into the showroom and say, this is the one I want, and in roughly 2 to maybe 3 days, it can show up at our job site, ready to go, install, ready to go. Okay, that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about like customization. Can I change this from this fun kind of blue color? Can I change my metal? Can I change my wood?
You can customize them. There are some that also have different countertops, different bases. You definitely can switch out your metal finishes. Some of them also are freestanding versus wall hanging. So you also have that option. This one that's right around the corner from you right here, this one also has different options where you can do a wall mounted only.
This is fun. This fluted look is very
I know, it's super popular right now. I also think that something that's really neat between them is that they're going to give you your cutout already for the plumbing, which is really nice.
Right?
And they have 2 drawers, so you're still getting some storage with a wall hanging. And I feel like these little ones, like you're maximizing that, especially for little powder bathrooms.
As I say, this is great in powder bathrooms.
Yes.
Our plumbers sometimes balk at these types of vanities because they're like, Alex, I got to fit it in
I
this
have to
little
cut
hole.
around it.
It's like, we got to do it. We can make it work. Those are some of the challenges that we run into, but
absolutely,
I think the function and the aesthetics of these La Cava lines, incredible.
I also really enjoy that their specification sheets are spot on. Like you probably have had this happen a lot where you get the specs and then you get the actual product and you're like, these are not the same things.
Yes.
With La Cava, we have tested that where the spec sheets are what they actually are. And so if you have a plumber who's like lining up exactly where the center line is, you actually know what you're getting. And if it's a wall hanging, they talk about where to have some backing and how to be actually able to have that cleat so that way this installs nicely.
That's great. And you mentioned that backing, right? Because that rough-in phase, that's when the walls are open. That's where putting that all together. And if it's not accurate, which to your point, you look at some of the Wayfairs of the world, even the Lowe's and Home Depot options, like those instruction manuals, those specification sheets, they're not always perfect.
No.
So it's great.
And I think that the backing of it's also something that's important to think about, is that when we're talking about those lower level lines, is that the backing is very thin. And so when you're actually trying to attach that and you're trying to like have everything level and make sure that it's not going to fall off of the wall, the back part is the only part that you're securing it with.
Of the cabinet, of the actual unit itself.
Exactly.
It's solid, it's sturdy, it's stable to attach to our in-wall blocking, and it stays put in place.
Exactly. I think that you can always add additional support underneath it, but these are just really quality products.
So I see this is actually a La Cava fixture. Do they come with fixtures? Can we interchange those if we have something, from the showroom that we decide, or that a client decides that they want to put in to match maybe, the tub or the shower fixtures, things like that?
So something neat that they've done is they've created an option for you to just have a fully suited option, but you also can customize that. So if we wanted to get this base without the countertop and without the faucet, we can do that. They've just tried to create a very easy kit. If you wanted to put in a powder bathroom, it's all matching.
I love that, because what we find, again, when some of our clients come to us that aren't working with a designer and maybe they've picked something online, oftentimes it's like, it's just the full kit. Like, you have to get it. And if they send the fixture with it and they don't want it, it's just like, what do we do with it now?
We carry multiple different vanity lines. All of them that we carry, really, we've discussed like the features and benefits. One of them is maximizing the storage in a small amount of space. Every single one of these is going to be cut out for the P-trap.
And I think that's a big thing, right? Especially with smaller bathrooms, is like, how do we integrate style, great design, while also increasing or improving or at least maintaining storage solutions that they may have previously had with older units. I think that can be sometimes a challenge for some of our clients, is it's like, how do we work with designers and teams and showrooms that carry lines and have options that also have good storage?
For me as a designer, I think about function first. And like, I still want that functionality, but I also want it to look pretty too.
Absolutely.
And so I think that that's also why we've curated these options, is that all of them are very thoughtful. So these are our Bain Ultra tubs. They really are all about wellness. Every different therapy kind of across the board is what they really want to do. And they want to think about just making people well in their home.
So with these Bain Ultras, do they all have the options for all of the therapies?
They do. And so I think what's really neat is you can customize it based upon the fit of you, right? And so I think that a tub is a very personal thing. Some people want it just for them. They want a two-person. They like the idea of having it tall on one side versus low on the other. They call that kind of like the lounging and the reading.
Okay.
Sometimes, depending upon design, we want to choose one over another because of the aesthetic.
Sure.
Right? Sometimes we like it where it's just going to be flat all the way across or have a little lip.
Are any of them big enough to fit a 6 foot tall person?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually do get that question. We don't have it on the floor, but
okay.
I have had a few people that have like the 6'2" husband, right? That's like, I need to be able to fit in the tub. And there are, interestingly enough, there are a few of these manufacturers that also have decided to go ahead and get a larger tub. So more like, you can go up to 72 inches on a tub, which I think design-wise, we have to figure out if that fits.
Challenging. Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're increasing the shower sizes, right? And we're like reducing the tub size. But it is an option. And sometimes we can even angle them, right, in that space. And so depending upon where the vanity in the shower is, sometimes we can angle that tub and get it in there.
Then all of the Bain Ultras, or a majority of them, come with the hydrotherapy, chromotherapy, aromatherapy, thermotherapy. They've got a lot of therapy options.
I think that that's actually why Bain Ultra really shines, is because people want those therapies.
Sure.
I think that also something that's really neat that you can't see in this tub right now because it's off is that light therapy is hidden behind the walls of the acrylic here. And so when it's on, you're getting that light therapy come through, but then when it's off, it's hidden away. And then also something that they can do is a heating element that's in the back of where you're sitting. So it doesn't heat the water, but it does when it comes up to temperature. It keeps you warm and it keeps the water warm, so you're not having to drain the tub and refill it again.
Do you know, is that a 120 volt connection?
I think that everything that they have is on a 120. They do also have a cold plunge option. Okay. That requires a 240, which I think, a lot of people have been interested in that.
Yeah. And something that I've noticed, especially throughout the whole showroom, is this is kind of a unique tub line that we can come in, we can touch, we can feel, we can look at, we can talk with your team about, that you might not really be able to find anywhere else sort of across the Denver Metro, even across the Front Range to a degree. So, if someone's looking for something like this is a great place to come in, touch, feel, look, and really understand what the product is like. So something we're seeing a lot coming into the fold is bidet units, specifically when we talk about toilets, washlets, and full-on bidet units. And so here we're going to talk about kind of the Ressa by Crosswater. And Chelsea, tell me what you like about these in comparison to some of the other models out there and why it might be one of your favorites.
I think that what we're really seeing is that it's a very clean and straightforward model because it's also fully skirted. Things that people don't really recognize or know until they see it is, where do the cords go? And
Sure.
where is the water line? So I think that it's really nice that that's all really hidden back behind this skirt.
Yep.
People enjoy that. They also like that this doesn't have any kind of additional, toilet tank or feature,
Yep.
that it's just very straightforward. The really nice thing about this toilet is that everything is hidden. And so you actually have a remote with this that you can mount on the wall. I joke with most people that you can actually have different models. So if you want the disco ball version where it opens and shuts when you approach, it has that. It also flushes on its own. And then it has, just like in a car where you hit number 1 for your features, it has those options too. For a bidet, I think financially it's also a really great option.
And something that, comes to my mind when I think of Crosswater London is elevated design, maybe elevated price point, but that doesn't really seem to be the case with this bidet unit. Let's say in comparison to like a well-known model like a Toto, it sounds like this is a little bit more affordable than even the Toto units.
Yeah, and I mean, we do carry Toto, so it's interesting because we've definitely done like a comparison between the two, and sometimes people just, they love the Toto brand, which there's nothing wrong with it. We love it too. But this just gives a different look and gives different price point options. Here's one of the floating toilets that we carry, and you can just see that the carrier actually goes into the wall back behind the toilet here. And something that I have everyone ask is like, well, if I need to get into the toilet or if I need to change something, what do I do? So this plate actually comes off, and everything that you need to access in the toilet is right behind here. So then you have your flushing mechanisms directly against the wall. And then these also come in different finishes as well. So now we're going to transition into talking about the different plumbing fixtures that we have here. We'll kind of start off with Crosswater and Dorenbrock, and then we'll weave our way through.
Crosswater London, to me, again, it says Crosswater London, right? But
yeah.
We know it's manufactured, in Massachusetts. It comes from the US, but it's got this very like European classic elegant style to it, right? Like you think of this and just the way the design comes together and the way it feels, it's very elegant, it's very classic.
Yeah, I feel like what's kind of neat and unique, you already kind of touched on like the classic design of it, but they also have some lines that they've brought into being a little bit more transitional or, contemporary even for them. I also really enjoy that you have everything in one escutcheon plate. And so you have the ability to have your diverters, your on, off, your thermovalance options. I really enjoy their accessory line. Not everyone do I enjoy that out of. Being able to have some of the lived-in finishes, that seems to be something that's also becoming popular. And just the different valve options, right? Again, all behind one escutcheon plate. I really like that.
I think that's what we're seeing a lot from our end as well, is it's like, especially our plumbers, right? It's like, okay, look, we've got diverter and thermovalance in one, right?
Yep.
We don't have independence. It's all starting to come together and be a little more streamlined as far as installation, even usability and things like that from a client, from an install and from a client use perspective.
I very much agree. And I think customization, right? So if you really like one of these little details, I think that that's really where they shine, is that it's something that's very unique. It's like a little wink of design. It's not overdone.
And I think that's, sprinkled throughout the whole showroom here, right? Is it's like, we've got a lot of really great lines that do offer those customization options that you may not find at other showrooms across the metro.
So over here we have the Dorenbrock bathroom. They're very classic. As far as a company, I would consider them like top tier in quality. And then being able to look at all their different options as well. They have the tendency to lean a little bit more towards the contemporary side versus, other brands that we have that are more traditional. They also do have a really great array of options for wall-mounted faucets as well as tub fillers that are wall-mounted.
Okay. We're definitely seeing that come into the fold more and more, the wall-mounted option. Like we talk about being able and easy to clean around things, right? Like the single pole faucet, easy for cleaning.
Yep.
The widespread, not as easy, the classic 4-inch,
Oh gosh, yeah.
hard to get around. So these wall options are something we're really seeing come into the fold.
Yeah, I like that. And one of my favorite little knobs that they have, if that's what you can call it, is this guy where it's just very simple. When you touch Dorenbrock, it's you feel the quality. And if you pick them up, they're nice and heavy as well.
Yeah, well made.
So this is our Artos line. Where they kind of come into the market is going to be slightly above a Delta as far as quality, but from a price standpoint, they're pretty much equivalent. I think that branding is something that they're not really kind of like pushed forward as much as Artos, but I love that they just have different options again. Like that's really what we're curating, right? That you're able to also switch heads, you're able to switch necks. From a color standpoint, they've just taken a really great option of kind of what's out there, but then distilled it down We were talking before about the escutcheon plates, which I think that they do also a really great job. You can do the curved, you can also do the square. You're getting everything within one valve. I also really enjoy that for their handheld, they actually have a multifunction, which not a lot of people do. And then you're able to have that on the bar. The only thing in their line that I don't seem to enjoy as much is just their accessory line. I actually enjoy another brand of ours, Cartner's, better for that, because I like something that's just a little bit beefier.
Sure.
And Cartner's has what I call the sexy grab bars.
There you go.
And so you can bring that into the whole line and be able to blend those finishes.
Yeah, what really caught my attention about the Arctos line was this gold is very subtle, right? It's a very subtle, kind of a simple fixture. I really like, and we're seeing a lot of these point mounts instead of the slide bars.
Okay.
They're just a little bit simplified, right? Just a little bit more of like a less cumbersome maybe. They're not as like in your face as a slide bar.
Yeah.
Obviously there are set points, so we've only got one place for it to mount. These are becoming so popular where it's like we've got the all-in-one diverter valve to our hand one, to our overhead rain shower, and then our temperature balance all on the same plate. I really like how thin this is too. From an installation standpoint, it may be something that we got to really make sure we've got a nice smooth plane on our tile around these fixtures, because they don't have quite the the depth like these ones do to cover some of that. But aside from that, I really like that, and I like that it's a similar kind of comparison, as you mentioned, to a Delta line. We do a lot of the pull and replace type bathrooms, and I think this could really elevate the space while also maintaining kind of a budget or an investment level.
And we do also carry some in-stock items, including these and including their valves. So sometimes, right, when you're needing something right away, we do carry certain inventory. I'm so in love with California Faucet because of just their different offerings and customizations. If you say, all right, Chelsea, I really love this faucet, but maybe I don't want the cross lever handles. I just want something very simple. You have that interchangeability. And then one that's become really popular is this teak hardware.
This is kind of playing on mixed metals.
This one, again, in the single lever, or you can do it in the cross handle, which is really fun.
In wood as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do them both. So you have the ability to kind of transfer in between them. And the one that's right below you there, that's in the black and the chrome, you can also change out these. They have different knurlings and different options. And then when you look at a fully suited line, which is what we call them, we were talking about the escutcheon plates. They also have a double diverter option here. So when you're getting into a little bit bigger, then you also have the option of switching to your tub and switching to a handheld. But let's just pretend you're doing 2 shower heads instead of the
head or something.
Yep, exactly. Then you have the option of just a one escutcheon plate, and then you can see the more contemporary version over here. Again, being able to do it to different features. You can do the single mount, what we were talking about, or you can do it on the bar.
The lead time is probably a little bit longer than some other lines. Am I right in thinking that?
It is for most of them. They do have some that are a 2-week lead time though.
Oh, okay.
And so you can get them pretty quick, right? Within all of their different colors, which maybe you can see down here.
Sure.
They have so many different options. Their Bellaterra Bronze, which is up here, was their #1 seller last year. And so it's like a warm black. Not quite oil rub bronze, which everyone's pretty much really enjoyed that. That actually came into their 2-week lead time. But most of them maybe like 4 weeks. It's not that bad.
That isn't terrible. And that is funny you mention that, right? Because we've got the traditional chrome, we've got our brushed nickels, we've got our gold coming into the market, we've got black that's been around for a while now. We don't have a lot of, like you said, kind of that brown, which we're seeing a lot more of the warmer tones come into the bathroom space. Where we're kind of moving away from the whites, the grays, the really stark kind of sterile type feelings. So that's a fun option. Do you know if any other manufacturer has something like that, or is it kind of exclusive to Cal so far?
That's pretty exclusive to them. I haven't seen anybody else come out with a color. And, as a designer, we're always comparing and contrasting. And we're looking at those very, very closely. So I think that one has been the most approachable color that everyone's basically just across the board really loved. If they're doing a more traditional fixture or a more contemporary, it seems to go really nicely. And then I also really enjoy that they have, which you can see down here, they have 5 different variations of a bronze or a brushed brass, which nobody has that. Like, you get what you get on one color.
Yeah, and we talked about that earlier, right? It's just like, how do we match these metals with light fixtures, with door pulls or cabinet pulls and handles and different metals throughout the whole space? It's becoming quite challenging, especially for you as a designer, to make sure those all either blend really well or match together or maybe contrast, depending on what the look and the feel is. So
yeah, and I think maybe the last thing to say about them is that everything that they have from an innard standpoint is going to be brass. And so when you pick up one of these fixtures, like if you pick up this guy, like that sucker is
right,
it's
solid.
heavy, right? It's solid.
It's made well. It's going to last a long time. It's going to function properly. You're not going to have issues. You're not going to have warranty calls, which for me is huge, right? So Chelsea, tell me about this. This looks really fun.
We can take some of those shower heads that we were looking at and change them out here so people can really understand what that water is going to feel like, what the pressure is going to feel like. And one of our favorites right here is actually a multi-function on the shower head.
Yep.
So that way you can really change it. And then as you kind of go down, if you want to turn those on, I just like turning them all on. And then we also have the handheld over there that we can switch that out as well so you can really feel it. I don't know if you've had this be popular, but dog washes have become increasingly more popular. Being able to show like, how can we have a handheld? How can you rinse that out, right? And then also looking at some of these linear drains, which we carry infinity drain. That way you can see how does that water kind of go into it. And I love putting them like underneath a bench or like hiding them away if we can. This is Cartners. They're an accessory-only company, and where I fell in love with them is sexy grab bars. So in the world that we talk about is really aging in place, right? Is that grab bars are still needed in showers and near toilets. I think everyone, especially in Colorado, right? We get hurt.
Slips,
it's good.
trips, falls,
exactly. It's great to have them, and they have so many different color options. They also have the opportunity to where we can integrate the shower door handle and the hinges in the same finishes, which is something that I've always really enjoyed instead of just getting what I get. And then I typically bring those over to our shower glass company, and then they just install them, put them together. I also really love this one right here. If you pick that up, that's their teepee holder. And then they work really well within all of our different plumbing fixtures. And so again, we're talking about finishes and we're talking about style.
Yeah, I like that. And again, when we think of the different finishes that are coming out now and being able to match and have a good set, as we mentioned earlier, it's like some of the sets that come with the other product lines from the plumbing fixture manufacturers aren't maybe what we want to spec or what you want to spec from a design aspect. And having this option is great.
This is Rocky Mountain Hardware. Everything that they touch is gorgeous.
These are fun,
yes.
Super custom, very different.
Yes, very.
Like, when I walk up to this, I'm just like, these are unique. That's what I think of.
Absolutely. If you touch one of their hardwares, you can just feel, right, the quality of it. They also have the quarter turn, so that way your lever is opening instead of having to push it all the way down. Okay. What I enjoy about them, not only are they just gorgeous, but they also do anything customized. Let's just pretend you're doing a bar and you have a front door or even on your home and you need something that's 72 inches long. We can, as designers, draw something up, say, ooh, I kind of like this as my inspiration, but I really need it to be like this. And they'll give you whatever you need. And then if you want to pull that throughout your whole home, like let's pretend you want it on your kitchen cabinets, right? Or you want it on your bathroom cabinets, or you want your staircase to look similar. Anything metal, they'll do it.
Yeah, and I think from a design aesthetic, or perspective, it's just like, it's a fun, unique option that, I don't see it a lot of other showrooms, right? At Confluence up here in Boulder, it's like you guys have so many unique, fun selections that are very customizable and a little bit off the beaten path that you're not going to find at other kind of run-of-the-mill showrooms. Yeah. So we had an awesome time here at the showroom. Chelsea, what's the best way for someone if they're looking for new bathroom, new kitchen, fixtures, features, things? How do they get a hold of you? How do they come in? What's the best way to contact you?
So if they want to, they can go on to our website, which is really great. We just got a brand new website, which they can book an appointment if they want to, which is encouraged, or they can give us a phone call here too.
We highly recommend coming into the showroom, talking with Chelsea and her team, and picking out your fixture set for your next project.